Hi, Stephen here from Sign Divination Wave, and this is day 30 of the January daily draws. So, as we close out the week and approach the weekend, let's see what message we get. And I'll be taking the first card from the Linestrider Tarot, followed by an Oracle card from the Enchanted Map Oracle. So, let's choose our first card and get the reading underway. Okay, here we go. We have the Eight of Wands. Notice that's a deer or gazelle or whatever. I don't think it's a gazelle. I don't see any. I think a gazelle has antlers, isn't it? But say it's a deer, and we've also got a bird here. So there's motion, sort of like quick motion. He's leaping, the bird's flying up. There's that sense of impetus. There's a sense of what's the word? Acceleration. We're taking off. We're leaping forward. We're picking up speed. Impetus is a good one. There's another one as well. I shall think of it eventually. And what this means to us is that it seems strange in one sense to get this kind of energy at the end of the week, going into the weekend where we tend to unwind more and slow the pace down. At the end of the week, we slowed down. We probably had a busy week. This may reflect that things have picked up a bit of speed during the week, and we've find ourselves a bit more busy than usual, and things are taking off, and we find that we're getting more momentum. That's the word I was looking for. I think we're picking up momentum, and we may have discerned a bit of that during this past week. And we can reflect over that as we approach the weekend, as we pass through the weekend. And maybe over the weekend, prepare to pick things up even more. Keep that momentum rolling into next week. And of course, next week is going to be a new month as well. So we've more or less come towards the end. I mean, tomorrow's the last day of January. So we've done January, really, by 24 hours or so. And that does fit, because I don't know about anyone else, but I personally always think that, when we have the holidays back in December, we have Christmas, then we get to the new year, and then the first part of the new year always seems to be, at the time, I mean, looking back now, it appears as it's flown by, but at the time, it seemed to be going on, and that we were never going to get to the end of January. It seemed to be a little bit of a slog, and always does, that beginning part of the year when we have the anticlimax after the celebrations of Christmas, etc., and the holidays and celebrating New Year. And then it's sort of like, we come down with a thud, and of course it's right in the middle of winter. We get the weather gets colder. We get snow. But we've had some snow, not as much as what some people have had in say like in the US or other countries. But we've had our fair share. We've had our bad weather, not just snow, and it's dark. A lot of the time, even during the day, and everything seems to have come to a slow. And that's the purpose of winter, isn't it? That things go almost into, it's like the earth hibernates for a while. If you're in the northern hemisphere, of course, I always like to acknowledge those in the southern hemisphere. If there's anyone from there watching, I do recognize you, and that you things are different for you in the southern hemisphere, of course. But of course, being in the northern hemisphere, I tend to focus more on what's going on around me. So apologies for that. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you're going through the opposite kind of thing to you're the other end of the wheel, as it were, and you have your own changes and things to deal with. But here we're dealing with the winter, and as I say, January always seems to drag and seem to be going really slow. But as we get to the end of January, it's like when you have an egg timer and the sand's running through. It seems to go really, really slowly at first, but when it gets towards the end, it seems it probably still goes at the same way, but it seems to pick up speed. The less there is to go through, it seems to go through quicker. So that the end of the month seems to come around quicker than the rest of the month. And of course, as you approach a new month, from this point on, usually the year tends to pick up speed. As we're coming to Imbolc, of course, in a few days, and that means the first signs of spring. Not spring itself, but the signs that spring is near, and you get the first signs of that. And that's what Imbolc's all about. More about that another time, perhaps. And that's when, from that point on, that's when there's still a bit of winter to go, but you can see the ends inside, and things start to pick up a bit more, and then we sort of become more awakened ourselves. As the energy begins to slowly return, it begins to return to us, and that's why we get that impetus and momentum to move forward with what we want to do, and that we get more enthusiasm. We perhaps feel a bit more up to doing things. We feel as if things are going better paced than what they have been. And that's what the Eight of Wands is signifying here, that we're ready now to pick up the pace. That's what we should be preparing for. We probably already felt it, as I say, during this past week, past few days, past week. As we're going forward, we shall feel it even more, that we're really entering into the year now. We're really entering into where things become more active, and we're gearing up. We're taking a leap forward. So let's begin to determine where we're going to channel that energy as we move forward. That's the key thing. Maybe that's what we can think about over the weekend and why it's coming now. Prepare for it, and think about where we're going to take that momentum and channel that energy. That's what this card is asking us. Where you're going to channel that energy. This is where the energy starts to pick up speed, pick up momentum. As I said, now I've said the word several times now. Now I've thought about it. It took me a while for it to come, but I'm making use of it now. So this is where things begin to happen, and if we're quite not sure where we want these things to be, now is the time, the ultimate time, to begin to set our intentions and to pick our focus, pick some goals and move towards them, and pick up the pace towards them, and our creative energy, putting more and more into it. So let's prepare for that momentum and keep that momentum rolling. Let's seize the moment to move ourselves forward as we move forward into the year. Okay, so let's see which oracle card we get to go with that. Okay, here we go. Ghostlands. Maybe we're still dealing with some issues of the past, like ghosts haunting us. We've got to deal with those. Otherwise, it's going to slow our momentum down. It has the potential to do that. it's almost gonna freeze us in that moment. Look how the ice, it's almost like we're frozen in this moment. Are we tied to a moment and almost frozen to some memory or moment in our lives that we can't seem to shift from? That may hold us back. That may bring the opposite of this. We need to release that so we can move forward with momentum. Also, you can see the ice here. Maybe it's thawing out. Maybe it's felt as if we've been trapped in time. It's been timeless. That's what the part of the month dragging on and seeming endless, because it's almost like never ending. We're frozen in that moment. Time is not moving forward quickly, but now it's thawing through, and it's beginning to, the time's beginning to feel. It's how we perceive it, of course, our perception of time. And it's now we perceive it to be going a little bit more smoothly as the ice begins to melt, and as we get nearer to spring, it seems to be picking up the pace. So that too, that way of looking at it ties in with the Eight of Wands here. Let's not let anything pull us back and stop us from experiencing that momentum. Deal with any past issues and take hold of that energy, harness it, and move forward. And that is the message of the cards today. Okay, so that's today's message. I'll be back tomorrow with day 31. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.